Welcome back to the shop, guys, for a quick tech video on harmonic dampers. Now, most people call these harmonic balancers, but since all of the LS engines are internally balanced, the harmonic damper is actually neutrally balanced, so the correct term is a harmonic damper as opposed to a balancer, which would have some sort of a counterbalance weight on here to help balance out the crankshaft. For the purpose of this video, and since everybody does anyway, I'll probably use the terms interchangeably. Today I've got a friend's 98 C5 on the lift, and yes, it's getting a new vibration damper because this one, which appears to probably be the original one, has a bad case of wobble and chirp-itis. Now, in the past, I've done a couple of videos on how to change out your harmonic dampener on your C5. They're step-by-step videos, and there's also one that includes all of the specialty tools that you will need for the job. If you miss those, there's links to them up here in your upper right-hand corner. What I want to show you today is this SFI rated unit from Summit Racing. It is known as their house brand C2501 Bracket Racing Vibration Dampener. This is a very popular damper with the LS crowd, and through the years, I've heard nothing but good things about it. The Summit damper is a step above my normal budget damper of choice, which is the very good PowerBond Premium OEM replacement that's got a very good reputation as well. The Summit unit comes in at roughly twice the cost of that PowerBond unit that I just showed you, but for that you get the SFI 18.1 rating and you get very good looks. The Summit damper also weighs quite a bit more than both the stock and the PowerBond OEM replacement balancer, which to me means it just does a better job of being able to absorb the engine vibrations. Oh, and for the guys out there that have carburetors and distributors, it has timing marks, which allows you to set the timing the old-fashioned way. The SFI 18.1 spec that the Summit Racing Balancer has means that it's been engineered and designed to higher specs so that in the event of a failure, this outer inertia ring doesn't walk off of the middle hub. And this design has also been tested where they put it on a fixture and spin it to between 12,500 and 13,500 RPMs for 1 hour to make sure that it doesn't explode. And if it can handle that test, it certainly can handle any RPM a typical LS owner is going to throw at it. I'll be sure to put a link to that full SFI 18.1 spec in the description below in case you want to read it. Now, factory vibration dampers like this one fail over time due to separation between this outer ring and the inner hub, which again is joined by this elastomer. The PowerBond unit also uses a very similar elastomer design, and the Summit unit, although at first you can't see it with this ring on the front, if you remove the ring, it also has the same elastomer design connecting the inner hub to the outer ring, and that does carry through to the back as well. For most C5 and C6 owners, the PowerBond Premium OEM replacement is going to work just fine. In fact, I've been using this exact balancer on my Supercharged C5 for over 5 years, as have many others, with zero issues. If you must have an SFI rated balancer for the type of racing that you do, there is a PowerBond unit and also this Summit unit that again are both SFI rated, and they even give you this little card as documentation that you're in compliance. If money is no option or you just want peace of mind that your damper is built to a higher specification, most go with the ATI Super Damper or the Fluid Damper, which are two very popular choices with engine builders. Here's an interesting note about belt-driven supercharged applications. The supercharger, as well as all of the other accessories that are on that same belt, act to dampen the vibrations that are produced by the engine in addition to the harmonic damper that's bolted to the crankshaft.
The supercharger kits are designed to work with the factory harmonic damper. The factory harmonic damper, particularly for a modified street car, is probably more than adequate.
In fact, for some of the older root-style supercharged applications, it is not uncommon for builders to skip the vibration damper altogether and instead use a solid crankshaft pulley. Just something to think about. One other thing to think about is if you start using different types of balancers, it's going to change the tools that you need to use to remove your balancer. Like for example, this is an LS balancer puller meant to engage each of these 3 spokes. For this type of balancer, you'll need a different type of puller. The same thing goes for the tool you're going to need to use to hold the crankshaft still when the time comes to torque that crankshaft bolt down to the massive spec. Here's the holder that you can use again for the stock type 3-spoke balancer. And with something like this Summit balancer, the tool that I typically use is not going to work because it will not properly engage the holes. So instead I'm going to have to use this tool as well, which requires removing the starter and bolting this in place to hold the flywheel. Especially on this, which is an automatic. Some guys with a manual transmission will put it in gear and hold on the brake while the bolt is being torqued down. So which harmonic damper is the best? I have no idea. I've looked into this subject many times through the years, and even amongst the most respected engine builders, there are varying opinions, but 2 names do tend to come up often, the ATI Super Damper and the Fluid Damper. As for me, if I was replacing the damper on my Supercharged C5 today, I'd probably go with an SFI 18.1 rated unit like this one from Summit or the PowerBond Racing Balancer. If I was building a race application for serious race-only use where the engine was going to see sustained 5,000 to 7,000 RPM use, then of course I'd go with something more substantial like the ATI Super Damper or the Fluid Damper. What about you guys? Let us know in the comments below what your vibration damper of choice is and what specifically it is about that choice that you like. And while you're at it, please tap that thumbs up below if you got any value from this video. And most of all, thanks for watching.